Pops up. Hey, hey, ladies.
Hey,
How are you? I'm trying to find the button early
good.
today.
If the
Like,
last one
where
doesn't
is
tell it on.
the got it button? See, they change stuff when you record now. So check it out. Check it out.
Yes.
Good
I think
morning,
that's
ladies.
hilarious.
Good morning, ladies.
Good
How are you?
morning.
Good. So we are here back with the Heart of Chat, episode 56, The Power of Alignment, as we keep our series. Ooh, look at that. Power series.
Yep.
Love it,
It's
love
our
it,
power
love it.
series.
Yes, our power series. Wow. So we're a few episodes fresh off of our words of the year, and I can't believe it's at the end of 2021. So this topic and the other two before this one follow in really good suit. So I say the power of alignment, just us getting in alignment, maybe tweaking ourselves a little bit with our words of the year and how we present ourselves. But all good stuff, all wonderful stuff. So for today's topic, we're going to talk about alignment with yourself and getting to know yourself. I think we were talking about this, Shauna. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think you were saying that you have to first know yourself, being an inner alignment before we could go out here and start fixing and plugging. And I don't know. When I think about alignment, y'all are going to laugh at this. I was watching something recently where somebody had pliers for their TV. I don't know if when y'all were younger, the TV knob would break and we had the pliers.
Yes, I remember
The
that.
channel.
And we had the two knobs, the top and the
Yes.
bottom knob. Or you would take the top one off and put it on the bottom.
Oh yeah,
Yep.
yeah. They be hanging and the things be hanging from the knob because I'm like, no, don't touch it. It's gotta be 20
Yes.
because you won't get the TV. So yeah, the pliers were my friends. So if you can get in that alignment and that picture come clear, we know we can do this inner work, right?
That is great, Linda. That was perfect.
Just saying. Wow. All right. So Shauna, you want to start? You are ready. Shauna's like, look, I'm ready. This inner.
I love this topic.
I know. And I want you to talk more about what you were thinking in terms of that.
What I was thinking in terms of alignment when it comes to my inner self, my first step, my first job, my first work, my consistency, I got to stay there. Mm-hmm. It's an energy feel for me. It's something that's overwhelming and overcomes my whole mind, body, and soul when I know that I'm aligned. It's a sense of this is on purpose. I'm here. I'm in the present. This is what I'm supposed to be doing at this particular time. You know, these are the people that are supposed to be around me. This is the thoughts and feelings and patterns and the life plan that I'm going after. These are the goals that I want. This is working out for me. So it almost feels real, like the ultimate energetic feel. It's feeling like you're pieced together like a whole puzzle. That's what alignment feels for me when I feel it. Even when I don't feel it, I know that I'm aligned, even though sometimes it may seem like I'm not, because I think that's just like the human aspect comes in. And then I speak a lot about my overactive inner critic and my self-doubt and things like that. When that starts pulling on me, it's a distraction. And I don't feel like I'm necessarily not aligned. It's just in those particular moments, I'm being distracted from my alignment, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. And when I think about alignment, in another example is I think about a car, when your car has to get aligned. And I think about what a difference it is when you when you get your tires rotated or you get the alignment set up in the front of the car. Such a huge difference on how it rides, how it feels. The whole experience is different. It's almost like on this super level of alignment for me is how I feel about, this topic.
Yeah, so it's a great topic. I think Jeanette had made a comment when we were talking about this episode, as far as like your car is pulling to the left, you if something, you got to switch that wheel a little bit more. So it's sort of like turning a wheel and becoming, full circle. And looking at that, I like your examples, Shauna, especially the one about self-doubt, because there are days that we feel like we're on a high, other days kind of doubting ourselves, and maybe it relates to our abilities. So Jeanette, do you have any thoughts on that as well?
Yeah, like back to Shauna's example of the car alignment. what we know from that is that when your car is out of alignment, right? So you're forcing it to go straight and to go a certain way, and it's wearing out your tires, right? Mm-hmm. It's wearing them out, and eventually it's going to pop. It's going to be warped. It's going to be all kind of issues with it, but you're not going to be able to see it because it's interesting when it wears out the tires. When you need alignment, it wears it out on the inside of the tire, like on the inner side, but you can't see it. So like you just walk up to the car, you can't see it there unless your wheel is like turned all the way out, and wires be showing. You never know. You just like away from popping. And when I think about that in like your own personal life, sometimes we be trying to go one direction, but you still got like crap over here you need to fix, but I'm just gonna keep avoiding it. I'm gonna keep avoiding it and just keep piling up until, you know, it's the fan. Literally.
Yeah, exactly.
You can't avoid it anymore. Yeah. And so, and I think of like, you know, what does it look like when someone is just out of alignment? It's in simple, plain terms, you're just basically lying to yourself that everything is right, but it's not. And, you know, you like somebody mentioned goals, like you don't really have any goals for yourself. You feel disconnected from the people around you. You feel disconnected from yourself. You don't show up the way you would normally show up for yourself. And it could be something really superficial, like just, you know, getting up, getting dressed, and, you know, walking out the house the way you normally do. Like we've all seen the tired mamas walking out the house, just like, oh, like I know she's been having it rough, like, especially new moms. I think I told y'all maybe a podcast a long time ago when I had Ryan, who's 9 now. But when I had Ryan, I remember my friend Dominique came to the house to see me. And me, her, and Corey were sitting at the dining room table. I was holding the baby. And I remember she was like, why don't you give me the baby? You give me the baby and you go in there and take care of yourself. She's that friend, like and I know she is from a place of love, but she just gonna say it straight. Like, I can't make this sound pretty so I don't hurt your feelings. Just go do something. And girl, I just went in there and I really looked in the mirror at myself and I was like, oh, I ain't really looked at myself in a while. I was looking like Anthony Davis with this unibrow. Like, it was horrible.
That's your cousin. That's your cousin. I'm just saying it.
So handsome.
Sticking up around
right.
Like,
that's your cousin, Jeanette. I was looking at something. I was like, hey, that's Jeanette. They are related. Look, I'm going to the game. I'm going to look. I'm gonna do a test, and that's gonna be your cousin.
Yeah. So Corey always jokes about Rihanna and Beyonce being his girlfriends, right? So, and then
wow.
Oh yeah, like you know how to men level. So he was playing with the baby the other day, and this is off topic, y'all, but on topic. He was playing with the baby the other day, and he was like, oh girl, you already got a unibrow. And I said, that's because Davis is her daddy. And he was like, I ain't talking to you no more. I said, we can joke about Beyonce and Rihanna, but you can't take that joke, huh? I was like, it don't feel so good, does it?
It never does. It never. Stanley's is Tyra Banks. I'll be like, whatever. I'm taller than her anyway. That's what I said. I'm taller than her anyway. So because Stanley's 6'4", I'm almost 6 feet. I said, I'm taller than her. I don't care what you say, whatever. Tyra Banks. I'm like, I got something for you. Get you in alignment.
Right, and get him straight real quick.
Exactly.
But yeah, so I just feel like, a lot of people just go around lying to themselves that, I'm good. Like, it's okay not to be okay, but then but what are you going to do with it once you realize that you're not okay?
Making this, I wrote a blog post about that some years back. It is okay not to be okay. It's still in my blog little catalog thing. And it's okay. I think I even colored I didn't even use color. I have all these pretty graphics and such, but this graphic is in black and white for a reason, because I was working to make a statement that, things are going to be crazy, whether it's something that's out of your control, that's causing you not to be in alignment. I think a lot of us probably experienced that as of March of 2020, last year when the pandemic really first hit, and, you come home, all the kids are home, you homeschooling. Those of us who okay, we got it together. But then it's like, oh, things are not so together. Things are really out of alignment. Maybe get sleep. Maybe now you got to get up and cook breakfast for 15 people now because everybody's home. When you used to sending your kids to school and have breakfast there. So that gets you sort of off kilter too. And then the long workout hour days, the long days at home.
A really good
just
song
working
to listen
and things.
to is Jessie J's Who You Are, and she literally says that line in there, it's okay not to be okay.
Yeah.
It's a great song.
You said Jessie J's?
Jessie J.
Jessie J? Jessie J, okay.
Yep, Jessie J. I love her. She's an amazing singer. But that song popped in my head immediately when you said that one line. So then, like, what do you do with that, right? So now, like, you're thinking about it and trying to figure it out. And like, for me, I know a lot of people talk about just internally finding balance and all this stuff, or harmony. I think we talked about this before. And it's, it's just like, where am I neglecting things at in my life? Like, okay, yeah, I'm working on myself. I'm working out. I'm doing all this, but you ain't paid bills in 2 months. Like, Or, everything, the kids is good. This is good. But me and my husband ain't been on a date in a year. Like, or you take care of everybody else, but you haven't done anything for yourself.
Right.
How do you figure that out and work through that and just accept it? All right.
Yes. You said my word. I just wrote it down. I think the first thing is like reflection, like reflecting on your life. Give yourself some time to figure out where do you need to pour more love at. They have all types of online graphs. I've participated in Facebook groups before where it kind of lets you know what percentage you're doing well in and what percentage you need to try to bring up. And for me, like, even with the word like balance and harmony, for me personally, balance doesn't feel right because it feels like I'm always got to take something away to gain something, where I've been working more towards having a more harmonious lifestyle so that I just want things to work in harmony. I don't necessarily want to be like 20% here, 20% here. I really just want it to just flow and just feel good. And I believe once we reflect, then we have to start accepting what we reflected. And then we can start figuring out what steps do we need to take. And it could be as simple as what Linda mentioned earlier. It could just be sleep. It could be water intake. It could be fresh air. It could, it doesn't always have to be something so major. You don't have to go and sign up for a year for a workshop. You know what I mean?
Right.
To do this. Like you got this, you can do this. And I think it's like what Jeanette said, we have to stop with the foolery. We got to stop fakeness. We got to stop lying to ourselves. And we really need to get real about our mindset, what we're going through at any given time, and how can we serve ourselves to keep ourselves in the best space possible. And that's why when this comes up, I know it's a lot to be said about tribe. It's a lot to be said about who's around you. It's a lot to be said about being able to point it out and see it in other people. But the real work and the real Holyfield is what's up with you.
Right.
Because that's where the real change is going to be at. You're the change agent. I think we get caught up out here sometimes like, girl, did you see her? She needs to get that on, that. And we lose focus on what we're supposed to be doing for ourselves and minding our own business and staying in our lane. And I think that's speaks volumes with this work, because it always will begin and end with you. And you gotta take care of yourself in regards to that, or you're gonna go plum loco. I ain't trying to go loco. I'm trying to go loca.
No.
Linda,
water your own grass. Go ahead, Jeanette.
No, I was saying, Linda, Shauna, you may have too, but I know Linda for sure because Linda watches everything. She sees all the shows. She sees all the interviews, the awards, everything.
I don't know how she does it.
Oh shoot, my speaker just went crazy, y'all.
Oh, we can hear you. You sound great.
Okay, good.
Okay.
Gabrielle Union, when she was talking about, the stuff that she was dealing with, how she was a mean girl.
Yeah.
And what's her name was her coach.
Her mentor, AJ Johnson.
AJ Johnson,
yep.
Yes. And how she was just tearing women down left and right. Like she female would walk in the room and she would just, tear her down. And AJ checked her and she was like, and what did you gain by doing that? And she had to really do some self-reflection and realize that it was her, her own insecurities and things like that. So when a beautiful woman walked in the room, it sparked and triggered insecurity. So when you catch yourself being negative all the time, maybe there's something within yourself that you need to work on. What is it about that person that, just immediately sparked this, within you? You ain't got to worry about what nobody else is doing. And if that person is not doing what they're supposed to be doing, that's on them. We ain't got to worry about that because as long as I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing, staying in my lane.
I'm going to reference that episode in this one.
Staying in my lane. In another episode, we kind of touched on this a little bit, was the one with Arisha.
Yes.
And confidence. And we touched on some of these things with her a little bit as well. But yeah, so I like what you said, Shauna, though, about reflecting, accepting, and then just taking steps and understanding that everything is not always going to be 100%. You know what I mean? It's fluid, like water, it moves and it flows and it does all that, but just knowing that I'm still staying afloat. I am not tipping over.
That's all I want. That's all I want.
I'm not tipping over. I'm not shoveling water out the boat.
Right.
Yeah. That's a great example, Jeanette, about Gabrielle Union. I remember that story. I mean, I just remember because I follow her pretty closely. I remember Johnson became her mentor. And because I used to even say, wow, she's so mean. I mean, she's such a talented actress. I mean, seems like a great lady, but I just remember some of the people kind of chronicalizing the meanness of her. And
her and Jada have a whole interview together.
Yeah. I'm like, why are you doing this? Like, what is going on? Like, come on. Like, what is that about? And I think, all the things that we've said here, about taking the steps, sleep, water, alone. I'm going to say alone time. I'm going to add that in there because we do have to face ourselves. Sometimes that alone time is key because I jokingly say this about myself, but I mean, it's funny, but it's not funny. Like being the Florence Nightingale of everybody's life. It's funny, but it wasn't so funny a few years ago when I was out here trying to save everybody and save the world. And my mom's made a comment to me. She was like, you've done a lot for a lot of people. People are not going to tell you that as long as you're helping them and then you're going crazy. You have no time left for yourself. Even if it takes you spending that alone time with yourself and you telling yourself, I have to take care of myself. If you have to keep saying that, kind of like Bart Simpson on The Simpsons, how he always gets in trouble and he writes on the whiteboard, the chalkboard, I will do this like 1,000 times. I do that. Like I've had to because I had to look inward in order to move forward. And that's something that I realized, getting in alignment that I just can't save everybody. So it was something that made me believe that I had to do that. But then I was out of alignment in a lot of my areas. Maybe not reading enough, maybe not getting enough sleep, and then that alone time. So it really goes back to that too, because we can get enough sleep, we get water, do all that. But, so I added that to our show notes, ladies and gentlemen, heartbeats. Yeah.
And just letting go of when you're sitting with yourself, right, and reflecting, like these two beautiful ladies just said, letting go of things that just don't serve you, or the idea that things have to be a very specific set way, because sometimes that's why we're out of alignment, is because we're not really being true to ourselves. And this is what people think it should be this way, or everybody is doing it like this, you know what I mean, and really understanding that you can make life however you want to. It does not have to be a certain way.
Do you all feel this? You just struck something inside of me. there's so many things inside of us. So this just came to my mind. Do you ever feel like there's a part of yourself that micromanages yourself?
Hell
Like,
yeah.
Hell yeah. And I don't even like micromanaging people, but for me, it's control.
Mm-hmm. I'll micromanage myself, you know. It's like, I feel like I'm being a trailblazer gangster if I sleep in an extra 7 minutes. But maybe I needed those extra 7 minutes. But then I'll be like,
fussing at yourself. You should have got it. Leave me alone. I ain't want to get up.
Right. That's the part I don't like, that I want to get much more smoother with, is accepting, you know, that this is the way it's supposed to go if you slept a little bit longer, or if you didn't get that 15th item done today that you thought was going in, or you know what I mean? And to stop, you know, we don't give ourselves enough grace. This it's so much to this inner work, but it's so much to getting it to a place and a space where you feel, I want to feel like I'm aligned all the time. I'm not going to sit up here and say that I always feel like that. That's not true. But I'm striving for that ultimate space to stay in, whatever it is to keep me there.
Well, and I think that's it. No one's ever going to be all the way up all the time, right? Because that's just life, and it doesn't work that way. And even though you can have a majority of things that are flowing in the right direction, and majority everything feels good, there's always going to be something. It could be something as simple as it's raining outside, or you know, like, dang, I feel great today, but dang, why is it raining so hard? Like, it's raining for 4 days.
There's too many clouds in the sky.
You know, like, it's just always going to be something. And there's this whole a trap that I fell into was when I first started doing like self-work, was that I felt like you know, you can't be negative, you got to be positive, you got to think positive and be happy, and then it leads you to a space where when bad things happen, or when life happens, you dismiss your feelings and don't allow yourself to feel anything, and then you lie to yourself and say, no, I'm good, I'm happy, I'm feeling good. And then like all that stuff just like packs on top of it, because you never dealt with it. And sometimes you have to deal with that stuff so you can move forward. And you know, so what I don't want people to think is that the end goal is to just be happy all the time, to have joy 100% of the time. But the goal is to use the things that you have to get back to those places where you feel good, to, you know, where you can find your peace and your joy. And you can remember, oh, you know what? I feel like crap today, but I remember if I just go sit outside on my front porch by myself for a little bit, and it's okay to tell your kids, no, they can't come out with you, because a couple of times, you know, my Sydney, she wouldn't be outside with me she wants to be outside, period, all the time. And so as soon as she hear that alarm on my door, when you open the door, it says front door open, she be like, I'm coming, can I come outside? And I just like, not right now. Let mommy go outside by herself for a few minutes, and then I'll let you come outside. And it's okay to tell people no, they can't come with you, because you need your personal space and your peace. But like, you're just not always going to be happy 100% of the time, but you can choose to be happy despite the stuff that is going on around you, but also still understand that shit sucks, and it's okay.
It sucks, it hurts, and it's okay. Yeah. There's a difference. One of the biggest things that I learned about losing Lorenzo and grief is that there's a huge difference between, you could be a positive person, which everybody knows pretty much that's who I am since I was a kid, no matter what has happened to me, whatever transpired. But like Jeanette is saying, when life hits, just because you want to be happy, you choose to be happy, you know you're positive, excuse me, doesn't mean that it's okay to take a moment to sit back. Like in my case, when I was in my knee deep of grief, to be sad, to be angry, to be upset about the situation, to question it, you know, it's okay. What's not okay, and what you want to work on is the harmony of that, is getting yourself to and whatever you're going through, a stronger mental stability around what's happening, and finding the tools and understanding what the triggers are to help you not go back to a space where you're feeling so far away from alignment that you don't even know how to make your way back. So I think there's a difference. And I think that's the part that makes us feel guilty sometimes, is we think that we're supposed to be like, well, I'm supposed to be happy every moment, every second, every time. And it makes you feel like, oh, but if I'm not, then how am I the positive light or sunshine that I'm supposed to be, when that's a misconception. That's not true. So I agree with you there, Jeanette. You can be a total positive person, go through some shit. Oops.
I already said it 3 times, Shauna.
We love you. Did? Oh, I've just been typing away. I probably typed
said it right before
realized
she started talking.
I was like,
oh, this is Marco Polo. I just know Marco Polo now.
But see, I know, right? I'm thinking, I'm like,
I think we're good as long as we don't drop no F-bombs. So we'll be all right.
Okay, yeah. We're good.
Those we need to cut out.
Leave it in.
I ain't cutting nothing out. I'm just gonna put that explicit content on YouTube.
There you go. Check the box. Yep. Yeah,
I say all of that, Jeanette, to say you're absolutely right, and we need to. It's okay to be in those spaces. Just don't live there.
Yeah,
that makes sense. To take you down the wrong way.
Because there's this whole culture of toxic positivity, and people are really talking against it now. Like, it was this whole movement of be positive, think positive, it's rainbows and butterflies, and now the conversation is all around toxic positivity.
Yeah, I've seen that too recently, and I dug into it a little bit to see, what that was. I know everybody handles it differently, so that's why. That alone time, having that time to yourself. A lot of people don't want to face that. They don't want to face being alone. And it is okay. I'm like, oh, I'm alone now. Now I can, live in my feelings a little bit. I can work on some things. Maybe things are not going quite as expected for whatever reason that might be going on. And I think that there's definitely a lot of truth and growth in that.
Mm-hmm.
Believe that.
Yeah, definitely.
So
what are some like tangible steps and things that people can do once they realize this and they've accepted this, and you might be one thing that you're realizing right now, and something else might come up later on, but once you realize and you accept that, what, I do need to change this behavior, like where do you start, right? Because when it gets to that point where you have to sit back and do some self-reflection, it's a habit. Like you've already formed a habit, and that's why it's so natural for you. So how do you break from that and move forward? What are some things that they can do to kind of help them with that?
I think replacing something, like the word you reminded me, we always talk about Atomic Habit by James Clear.
Mm-hmm.
And he talks a lot in that book about taking a habit and replacing it with a different habit so that you can start untraining and unhooking from that, and of course, explore it. Why are you, locked into it? Explore it, because the deeper you find out about why you do what you do, then it's going to help you figure out how to do something different. And practice is, just practice the new habit. And for example, some days, we talked about this, like with morning routine and nighttime routine with the three of us, we have, we change it up pretty often because we do it in a manner, especially the morning routine. Maybe we journal one morning, maybe we're reading, maybe we're meditating, we do different things to give us different outcomes. And I could tell that when there's if I don't put enough time in, especially with meditation, if I don't put enough time in, I feel like the day probably went good, but I think it could have been better. Something was missing, in other words. So once you find what that new habit is and you know what it gives you and where it takes you, you want to incorporate that and kind of keep that as part of your, as we always speak about, our toolbox. So I would say replace a habit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love that about the toolbox. And I'll add to that too, to your morning routine comments. I mean, I found myself before, I guess during the pandemic and not so much recently. I think within the last 6 months, I started getting up a little earlier. So that helped me to be more in alignment. It wasn't, I'm not talking about a whole hour earlier. I set my clock to be like 20 minutes earlier. So that gave me more time in the morning in case I did spill my coffee or trip over something or, or get on the phone or whatever it might be. Because I think for me, the rushing part, I don't do well with rushing. I mean, rushing, if I have to rush, I already know my day is shot. I'm already out of alignment. I might as well just be like, okay.
You're right.
So I've done this, I think, a total of 3 times during the pandemic. I used to get up at like 6:15 and I was like, oh, that's not enough time. So I set my clock to 6. Then I think I went to 5:45 and that still wasn't good. But 5:30 is the right limit. And someone, I was like, oh yeah, this is how I sort of like adjusted and tweaked and got in alignment, because I was like, oh, I know, why am I sitting here trying to make this square peg fit in this round hole? And I know I need to get up earlier and stop doing this. But I still kept doing it because I was trying to, what they say, to jerry rig it into alignment. It was not working. So I made that adjustment, and it took a minute. It wasn't overnight. So since I've been doing that for the last 6 months, I think things are better. So maybe just tangible to take away. Maybe you might have to get up a few minutes earlier. It could be 10 minutes. It could be 15 minutes. It could be. I chose the 20-minute route, 15 to 20 minute route, because I felt like it gave me enough time to sit on the side of the bed to figure out I'm actually going to do this.
I'm not going to talk myself out of it.
Yeah, I was like, oh, okay, now. And then by the time, then I'm already at like the 5:50 mark, but then I'm still ahead of myself by 10 minutes. So that's like my crazy rationale in my mind. So yeah, that's what I would say.
So for me, I would say just forgive yourself for being in the space that you're in, and like, don't beat yourself up over it, right? And then changing it going forward, like the very first thing that I did when I started doing self-development work was I put myself in spaces with other people that was doing the work. And I was really serious about doing the work. And I put myself and I put stuff in my ear, like podcasts and music that was uplifting. Because let me tell you, I love Black culture. I love our music. But some of these songs, I'm like, they talk about country music being, my dog died, my car, broke down, my woman left me. Our songs is the same thing, but it's just a little bit different. Like, I was the side piece, he might have been your man, but he my man now, and I took him from you. Like, it's not always empowering and uplifting. You know what I'm saying?
True. Right?
Just like the country music does have those type of songs, our music does have those type of songs, and other genres do too. Like, you just put stuff in your ear that is empowering and uplifting, and that is going to remind you of who you are and who you were created to be. We all, and we talked about this about owning your power, we all were given that gift of having that internal power to change our life and live our life in any way that we desire. We all have the gift of self-discipline, but we don't work it, we don't exercise it enough. And then we all have the gift of loving ourselves. And you have it in you, but you just have to you have to activate these things. You have to do stuff to activate it. And one is being around people like Shauna and Linda, who are positive people, who, keep you uplifted, who are joyful all the time. And you just be like, I just know when I get on this Marco Polo, she gonna be smiling, laughing, giggling, something, Shauna gonna be throwing confetti. But that's just, you have to just change your people, change your circle. Do something different.
You at the wrong table.
Yeah.
Wow, it's gonna be so many episodes. so many episode links, and I'm trying to list them. I'm like, what is it again? What episode? Yeah, this is great. Also, another reference that we're going to include in the show notes, ladies and gentlemen, and heartbeats. So I'll give you about maybe 10 seconds to grab your journals and maybe a notebook, a piece of paper, or post-it. But Jeanette shared with us a web link by Neil, Neel Raman. Raman, and the title of this article is Inspiring Greatness. And one of the topics in here, or the subheadings, is how to be in alignment with your best self. So it gives you 5 steps to do this. So I'm going to run these off, but hopefully you grabbed your notebooks and your pieces of paper, your post-it notes right now. But number 1 is define who you'd be if you're being your best self. So making a definition, maybe writing down a couple of things that give you clarity in what that statement means to you. 2, ask for inner guidance. So most times the answers are within us. We talk about that in this episode and a few of the other episodes. And it talks about relaxation, being alone. I think I mentioned that a little bit earlier. So pay attention what's happening around you. Your surroundings are everything. I think you ladies have said that too. Number 4 is let go of any preconceived plan or ideas of how things should be. That plan, we're going to plan out the outcome. I'm guilty of that. So letting go,
hard step.
not forcing stuff to happen.
It's another highlighted point in that one, Linda, that says learning to trust yourself.
Yes, I'm like, not doing that. And my father used to say this, I said this a couple of episodes ago, if it don't fit, don't force it. He used to always say that. So powerful way of letting go how things need to unfold. And number 5, find the right support. Jeanette, you touched on that beautifully here. And thank you very much for that. And, noting the things about Shauna and I. But yes, find that right support. You don't always have all the answers. I know we think we do, but having a network or a tribe of people who are encouraging and supportive, that will make all the difference for you. So they can see when you're offline or off track.
And one thing, y'all, if it's something you want to learn more about, just Google it. Go to YouTube. None of this is new. People have been dealing with these issues since the beginning of time. Like none of this is new. It's just we have more access to the information now. Right. People are talking about and having these conversations more openly and freely. And that's what we want you to know. We're not coming up with some new idea or things, but these are things that we see in the women that, either ourselves or within the community of women, or that are either from where we're from or just online in different places. And then, just things that we see. Even when you're watching your favorite trash TV show, you could point out things in the women, why they are acting out and why they're acting away, why they're doing the things that they're doing. And it's just being highlighted for entertainment. And it's like that she needs some help. She needs to talk to somebody.
Yes.
So it's not that these are new concepts, but these are new conversations that people just haven't been having openly. And we think that we get to a certain age and it's like, well, I'm already 40, I'm already 50. I don't need to have this conversation. I am who I am. I can't change. You can always change who you are. You can always be a better version of yourself.
Always.
That's for sure. That's for sure. Love this.
Thank you.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you. It's great. Yes. So any other comments, thoughts, feedback for our listeners? That's definitely a very power-packed episode about alignment, and be sure to include all of the show notes, all the episode links, so you can go back and refresh your memories on what we past, and also watch us on YouTube. It's always a fun it's always a fun unscripted way to not unedited way to see us and all the reactions and such, but definitely a very power-packed episode on alignment, the power of alignment, as our power series continues. So any final thoughts, ladies?
Nah, we're going to keep it short so y'all can go back and listen to it again and take some notes again.
Yes. And yes, and listen to the episodes. I think we mentioned a few: staying in your lane, building mindset with confidence. We had a special guest. Arisha was one of our special guests from last season. And really great episode to listen to. Power of No. It's a whole list of them in there, but we'll be sure to list them in our notes too, so that you can take a look and take a listen.
So I do have like one brief announcement real quick before Shauna takes us out. So this episode is airing like November 15th or something like that.
Yeah.
So if you haven't already seen the announcement and you don't already know about it, the Heart of Chat has our own membership group where you can have access to some additional content from us, a community of women who are also, you know, doing the work on themselves and living their best lives. And we have so many different things within the group. We have calls with us, live chats with us a couple times a month. Shauna, Linda?
Yes.
Yep.
So go to our website, check it out, join the Heart of Chat Collective. We would love to have you join. And it's just another way for you to continue the conversation with us. And we have a little bit of fun in there at the same time. So
we do. Yes. Friday fun, everyday fun. Yeah. This episode airs on Monday, November 15th. So then we'll be 2 weeks into the Heart of Chat collective membership. We love you all. Thank you for all the love and support to our current and future members. So we can't wait to
you
there. And we're going to continue this work. And we hope that you'll walk with us in this work.
Yeah, to help you live the life you desire.
Yes. All right.
Shauna, the Hibbits?
Yes, everyone, are you listening? Follow us at the Heart of Chat on every platform all over the world. We're on every platform, y'all. Come back next week and every week because it's going to be fuego, baby. Come back.
Yes.
Bye,
Thank
ladies.
you.